Just a short introduction of our external expert, but before, thank you very much that we have possibility of present our Center of Excellence. It's very important for us, and today we will cover topic which is close to my heart because it's paperless transport. As Elżbieta said, it's very important for all European countries, but not only, because we will have electronic freight transport information regulation coming into force very, very soon. And that is why I would like to present our external speaker, Rudy Hemmelers from 51 bis Luxembourg. And let me open my notes because it's not so easy to present him. Rudy is of course, great transport and logistic expert, but he is also a long-term consultant and advisor of the Luxembourg government. He represents Inland Navigation Europe and the Digital Transport and Logistic Forum, and he's a member of UNCFAC Transport and Logistic Expert Group, and he actively participates in a number of European projects related to implementation of electronic consignment notes. Rudy, floor is yours. Thank you for being here with us. It's a pleasure.
No, I think you should take the brown one. Well. Try?
Yes, I try. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you here in the next 12 minutes. Because in the next 12 minutes, I have the objective, I have the goal to explain you what is this about this European eFTI regulation, why it is important for the transport and logistics companies, and why it is important for GS1. So I think many thanks, Agatha, to introduce me. I am going to skip this slide because otherwise the 12 minutes will be gone. Yeah. So we speak about a unique opportunity. We speak about a unique opportunity. And why is this important? Because today, in the case of cross-border freight transport, we still see that 99% of all transports have some paper documents involved. And this is quite important because we now focus on the transport documents. And these transport documents, they are in most of the cases mandatory for transport, at least from one member state to the other member state, and also in many countries for internal transport. And we estimate that there are about 400 to 500 million transport documents like the CMR in Europe. So just count the importance of these documents. So the Commission set up a team of about 120 experts called the DTLF, Digital Transport and Logistics Forum, of which GS1 has been, since the beginning, a member there. And the Commission has been looking at the need of the digitalization of these transport documents. So there was a study over a period of 3-4 years that looked into the drivers for digitalization, the problems, the consequences, and what needed to be done for towards that digitalization. And so let's first share with you an example of such a transport document. A transport document, in this case, this is the CMR for road transport, but we also speak about other transports, about rail transports, about inland navigation, about air cargo. And we see there that in this transport, we have documents which have been adopted since many, many years. And these documents, like you see one here, they are used for multiple purposes. They are used as the agreement between sender and receiver. They are used as the record of the goods received. They are used for invoicing. They are used for compliance reporting. They are used for VAT. If you look at it, the movement of the goods, the movement of the transport, everything is central. We also see then, of course, the identifiers. They are also central. This is the importance, of course, for GS1. Now, this paper document, of which there are 400, 500 million issued per year, so look at the numbers, yeah. We see there is an UNECE convention, which is called the Geneva 2008 CMR protocol. Since 2008, there are 34 countries that have adopted this protocol, the ECMR protocol edition, which allows economic operators, transport companies, logistics operators, to use the paper version of this, the electronic version of the paper document in such a way that it can be used by them in cases of court legislation. Some European member states are still missing, but we expect with the eFTI regulation that everyone will follow on that. So why is it important? Because if you can use the transport document, the CMR, but over the air we will, if you can use these transport documents in an end-to-end supply chain, then we have seen that the economic operators, the shippers, the consigners, the carriers, the forwarders, the consignees, they can save up to €13 per document whereby they use an electronic document instead of a paper version. And this is huge if you just count the number of documents which are in process. So why is this important? Because we see an evolution which is accelerating because of technology, an evolution which is accelerating also because of the benefits everyone can share. We see that the electronic version of the document can be shared in a cloud environment. It can be shared by just using the internet, and in this case here we see that that an electronic document can be accessed by the drivers. Of course, we see there a lot of identifiers already, and it can then be accessed by the different parties: shippers, road service providers, warehouse managers, air cargo, barge, other transport suppliers. But also, on the right side, we see that it can be accessed by authorities. By authorities, public authorities, police, waste control, and of course by customs and other border controls. Of course, GS1 is really king on the left side, but what is happening now also because of the regulation, we see that the European regulation is going to harmonize how the authorities here can access this information at the source. Also see the little VC there, the importance of verifiable credentials. Of course, that's an additional opportunity which is there. So the Commission, the DTLF, of which many of us are participating, we see there to have an adoption of electronic documents by the economic operators. There are two essential priorities. One priority is the harmonization of the regulation in such a way when you're driving around with your truck in Europe, I simplify it a little bit, when you're driving, that you have the same regulations when sharing documents, transport information with authorities. And that's where the eFTI regulation is important. eFTI stands for Electronic Freight Transport Information. Just to repeat it. So the second priority, which is of course also very important because without the second one, the second priority, the first one is close to still far away at the horizon, is to also harmonize how the information is shared in an electronic format between the economic operators. And that's where we are going towards a European federation of platforms, also a place where there is opportunity for GS1 and for your customers, of course. So about the regulation. The regulation, we can of course speak half an hour about it, but trying to summarize it in one slide is what I try to do here. It is an obligation. That's important. It is an obligation for member states, for authorities. They need to be ready in about 40 months from now, which means the end of 2026. They need to be ready to have the infrastructure in place to receive these electronic documents from private economic operators. 36 months is very close. It is not an obligation, eFTI is not an obligation for economic operators yet. It will come, but step by step. It is not yet an obligation, but if economic operators want to use the eFTI regulation to share data with government authorities, then they need to use what is called so-called eFTI platforms. And these eFTI platforms must be certified. So that's a key thing which is happening on the government side right now. We are member of European consortiums like eFTI for EU, we are federated, and we see right now that it is time for everyone to really think about what does it mean for me. So this is a slide for reference later on.
Minutes left.
It indicates on the left side that which regulations are in scope. It indicates on the right side that there is no new regulation, but it is a regulation that allows you to use electronic documents across the whole supply chain. So I only can say eFTI, in summary, is a regulation mandatory for governments, European governments, member states. They need to be able to accept transport information, ECMR in a digital format, also dangerous goods, waste transport are in the scope. Yep. It's not yet mandatory for economic operators, but if they use the platforms, they need to compliant to the standards. What is the message towards you as a GS1 community? I'm going maybe on ice here, so I need to be careful going to the other side here. Yeah. But the opportunity is to take your asset, the GS1 standards, the different standards, and to really align them to make sure to be compliant with this regulation, because then within the end-to-end supply chain, all components can be used in a digital format, and the transport document is still one of the documents which is missing today. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. I take this. Thank you.